So today I'm going to try to get a preliminary alignment on the front two wheels as far as caster and camber is concerned. Toe end will be adjusted once it's on the rack. So first thing we did was we jacked it up in the center and we put it on our plates. And what happened here is it shifted them over as the weight of the car came down. So that's kind of the purpose of the turn plates, but it's further over than I'd like it to be. So what we're going to do is jack it up underneath the control arm and try to get that plate to more or less center itself under the wheel. Already moved in. See if it's okay. It's up off of it. There you go. Try setting it down now. That gives us a better positioning on the turn plates. Now we're only going to do a preliminary alignment here because it really needs to be done with the weight of the body on the car, but it's so much easier to access the adjustments without the body that I'm going to try to get it in the ballpark and try to learn which way and how much I need to adjust it, if any, for when the body is on the car. So that's my son, my semi-able-bodied assistant. As good as I got for now. So,
I'm not myself.
We're going to try to do this. Now, I am going to shut the camera off for a bit. We're going to take off the trim rings because I want the level to set on the edge of the rim. And we've got to make and by the way, disclaimer, this is my invented way of doing caster and camber. I'm doing it with levels, laser levels that have a digital degree marking on it. So follow this procedure at your own risk. But we're going to take the trim rings off so that we can get the level to sit on the rim but be off of the tire so that we can get an accurate reading. So we've already run against a challenge, a little bit of a challenge. That is, when we tried to put the level on the wheel, there was a wheel weight in the way.
Gotta get the
So we're rotating it so that we can get a level on it. And what we have, I hope you can see this. I'm trying to video that. We've got a couple of metal spacers that go onto the magnets, and we're going to put those in position. Then we're going to tape them in place, but we're not going to tape where it hits the rim so that we're not changing it. What that does for us is it offsets the level far enough so it clears the tire.
So do you want the
I want it on the edge of the
actual lip?
Yeah, the actual lip, not that, because that's more consistent, I believe, than the.
Every time you hit the curb, right?
Than the flange part of it or whatever.
Something like that.
So something like that. As you can see, we're away from the tire and those two metal blocks are hitting the wheel. So we're going to tape those on so that they don't move, and then we'll be back. So here's what we came up with. We've got the two steel blocks which are held on by magnets, but then we tape them on with black tape, electrical tape, so that they fit. And my my helper will demonstrate. So it's sitting on the edge of the wheel, the very edge, not the you can't, it's hard to see there, but right below the black tape, it's sitting on the very edge of the rim. Point to the edge on this side, Todd. It's
Right down here.
right there. So that's where we're going to measure from. The next thing we're going to do is we want to make sure that we can take this thing off, put it back on, and put it in the same place. So we're going to put a laser level on this wheel, decide where we want it, and then mark it so that when we take it off and put it back on, or if it moves slightly, we can position it back to the exact same place that it was. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it here, but what we've got is a laser level sitting right there, and we've got it on the center of the tire as near as we can do it. And one of the things is, if you stand exactly in line with that, then every part of that line, regardless of whether that wheel is indented or extruded, it will look like a straight line. If not, then your laser level might be out of position. It has to be perpendicular exactly to the wheel. So what we're going to do now, hopefully I won't kick that on the way by,
There you go.
is we are going to take a piece of tape and try and put a piece of tape right where this needs to be.
Not in the right
Come
spot.
on. Okay.
There we go.
Does that look like it's the right spot?
Think so.
Okay,
So
so
straight up the center of the level.
I'm going to put it right here. Right on the wheel. And it's not sticking very well.
Sure isn't. I'm gonna breathe on that wrong and it's gonna come off.
Better off with a
Might need to
marker.
mark it, yeah.
Okay.
Thank goodness you're replacing those wheels.
Yes, I am replacing the wheels. You gotta go up a little bit. You're on the rubber down there.
Am I again?
Yeah.
It's hard to get seated perfectly flat here.
Go that way. Looks a little bit off. That looks right. We're going to mark it right here and right here.
I'm gonna do the opposite side too.
You make it easy.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm going to get my head in the way here.
My head's been in the way the whole time.
So there and there.
Now we got some marks.
Now we got some marks, so
And as you can see, the bottom wasn't very centered. Oh,
wasn't.
the magnet is, or the
okay,
block
yeah,
is
the
off.
block is not centered on the level.
Right.
That's why we're off there. Do not move that,
Right.
because we got it marked for the way it is. Okay, so now to actually start with the alignment, what we need to do is turn the wheel 20 degrees to the outside.
Outside.
this way.
Towards the camp.
Yeah, okay. So
As if I'm
actually,
turning
I should be able to turn it here maybe. Now, is that pointing to 0 on the
the needle is pointed at 0 now.
gauge? Let's make sure. Okay, so we need to turn it 20 degrees to the outside.
It'd probably be easier to do with a steering wheel, huh?
It would be, but need some help here. I can't, you're the one that's looking at the gauge. Oh, that was only 10.
That was only 10.
Yeah, my eyesight's failing me.
So now we're at 20.
Now we're at 20. Okay. Now we're ready to use the gauge, or the level. Now, this is where if you have an alignment gauge that you buy, it's actually going to have clamps that go onto the wheel, and the gauge is actually going to be horizontal. Our gauge is vertical. So put it on the marks, and then what we're going to do is we're going to zero it out. There's a 0 button on our gauge.
And get it zeroed.
Okay, move your head out of the way so we can show it. Okay, so we've got it zeroed. The next thing, and I've seen different things on this. I've seen some people say turn it 20 degrees, but most of them say turn it all the way the other direction. And then we'll measure it. Do not turn that off because we want that set at 0.
Same 0.
And we're going to turn it all the way the other way.
All the way the other way?
Mm-hmm. And we're going to stick that on again. And we're going to read the
And it says 1.5.
says 1.5. Okay. So we want to shoot for
Right, 1.6.
3 to 4 degrees. And I'm glad that's in points. I didn't realize it was. I thought it was whole degrees.
Yeah.
So in order to, that should be positive camber. And we sighted from the ball joints down from the top upper ball joint down to the lower ball joint. It looked like the ball joints, the upper was rearward of the lower one. That makes it positive camber. We want to shoot for like 3 degrees of positive camber. There's a couple ways you can make that adjustment. You can either shorten the back thing here, which looks like it has some threads there to do it.
Sure does.
And let me move the camera to show what we're shortening. So basically to increase, I'm towards the rear of the car now, so basically to increase positive camber, you can either shorten the rear adjustment or lengthen the front adjustment. So we're going to try shortening the rear since we have thread there. I don't want to take any chance that we're going to run out of that thread and have it pop out of the control arm. So as soon as we find a wrench that'll fit that, we'll start adjusting. My assistant caught me, I wasn't recording. We loosened the jam nut here, which, depending on which way you look at it,
You had to pull it.
I had to pull it
front.
towards the front.
So I guess
Does that go towards the front or the back? That one
that
goes
goes towards the back.
Okay. So, let's see. This one works. Now, we have to decide.
You're not fully on the line.
Here, you do it.
Here, I'll just use this because I can get
So,
it size.
what we're going to do is we're going to count how many turns this is, because one of the things I want to learn is how far a turn adjusts it
Okay.
in terms of degrees.
Okay.
So, count how many flats you do, and we'll put the level on it. And
Okay. So I'm trying to make it shorter, right?
we're trying to make it shorter.
Yeah. So on this one, shorter is going to be rotating the wrench towards the front of the car
We think.
because this one loosened. So that means screwing it in is this way.
Okay.
So I've got a quarter of a turn.
Do one whole turn, and then we'll measure and see what the effect was. So I didn't mention, while he's doing that, what I didn't mention is you always have to adjust the caster first. Once you've got that in to adjust the camber, you do equal adjustments on the front and the back.
So I think I did it six. Flats.
6 flats, that's one whole turn.
Yep.
And,
this went off.
okay, turn it on, and hopefully it's going to be reset to 0. Dang it.
We dilly-dallied. Because this is now 88 degrees.
88 degrees, so what's that make it? That means we increased it by 0.4 from 90. It was 1.6 negative.
At this point in the video, we said negative camber, but we really meant positive. We'll repeat negative at least one more time. So, we definitely were shooting for positive camber. We just misspoke as we were talking out loud, thinking out loud.
0.6 negative, and it's actually, we can get it squared up here, 88.8.
88.8, so we made it 0.8. So if my math is right and we're shooting for 3 to 4, we're looking for 87 to 86.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go for 87, 6.5.
86.5.
Yeah, that would be 3.5, which is, according to my research, it's good for autocross and track. And just so everybody knows, when I set this up, I don't care about tire wear because there's not enough mileage going to be put on this car to wear the tires out before they dry rot, I don't think. So I am going to have more negative camber. I'm going to have higher caster than stock. I'm setting it up for track and autocross.
So that was another 6.
That was another 6. So we should be
Closing in, right?
closing in. 88.8 should be down near about 88.
Well, I got you bad news, sir.
What?
We're at 89.3.
Eh.
So it's going the opposite way.
So that. Dang it. Dang it. Dang it. Let me see this. What are you reading?
89.4. So we were 1.6, right?
Yep.
And the first set of turns we went to 88.8, which is 1.2 from 90. And then I did another 6 turns, and I brought it in closer to 90 by another
0.8-ish.
0.6.
0.6. Okay.
So on average, that's 0.5 per revolution.
Okay. Let's do it some more, test it again. We may have to go back to the beginning and.
So if that's the case, we've got a total of 1, so we're at about 2.6. If I'm thinking correctly.
89.6, so we're getting it consistent. But go ahead, do it. I mean, I'm thinking out loud.
Okay.
Should have been at 0 when we were at 20 degrees. Which should have been, well, no. It wouldn't have been 90, it would have been whatever it was, which we should have looked at. Yeah. I see where you're going.
Okay.
Okay.
So now this says 89.9. Still says 89.9.
Okay. So now,
So if the last reading was 89.4 or 5, we've added another half a degree.
okay. With one whole turn of the,
One whole turn.
so,
So we've done 3 rounds, which means a degree and a half on top of the 1.6 that we had.
so we should be at about 3.
We should be at about 3.
Okay. Let's do this. To confirm that our suspicions are correct, let's set this back to 20 degrees this way, set it to 0, move it all the way, and
See if it gets us where we think it's supposed to be.
yep.
That needle's freaking moving. I believe that that needle has moved
Okay.
because it was not that difficult to. Yeah, that thing just like walked all over the place.
Yeah. I wonder if it's worth jacking up that control arm, taking that out, see if we can tighten that.
Tighten that down. Yeah.
So sports fans, that is what we're gonna do.
We're using
Try
the
it.
tools correctly.
Try to get the tool set up correctly. As I often say on this channel, you get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't edit things out because, you know, jobs don't always go smoothly. So we're going to see if we can do that, and then we'll be back. Turned out there was no way to tighten that. So what we did is we set it on the ground, and we set a bolt under it to wedge it in place so it doesn't move. So now we're going to turn it to 20 degrees.
Hopefully. Okay, that's 20 degrees. So we zeroed this, right?
It's not going to show exactly 20 degrees from this angle on the camera because of the angle, but that's what we're going to do. So now what we want to do is put that on there.
Oh, the wheel rotated.
On the marks. Oh, no. Okay.
We'll keep going until we get it right.
Jack it back up. Yeah, sometimes persistence is your best tool. Okay, we're getting him his workout, turning these wheels.
Yep.
20 degrees.
20 degrees.
We're going to
Line this up.
line that up, set it to 0. Make sure you're not on the tire.
Now I'm zeroed.
Okay. That's before that time's out. We'll turn it all the way.
All the way to the other side.
To the other side, put it back on it. There you go. Not a good angle for reading
Really not a good angle.
the
3.2.
3.2. Nice.
It worked out.
Should we leave it at 3.2?
Now, as it has settled itself, it's at 3.1. So
Let's give it a little more cranking.
give it another crank.
Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do?
Keep
I'm
moving
moving
this.
So that.
Are we looking for a 3.5?
Let me look at the sheet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure 3.5 is where it said.
Okay.
Well, actually, this says 2.75, but that has the same. So, the
Okay.
difference is,
I went to the whole 6. Since you started talking, I wanted to make sure I knew where I was at.
okay, the whole thing about this is more caster gives you better straight line stability, but it's harder to steer. Since I have power steering, I'm not all that concerned about how hard it is to steer.
Well, that is a dead on 3.5.
You're on 3.5?
Yep.
Now, the problem is that that sheet I looked at said 2.75 for everything, daily driver and race, and that I can't believe that race would be the same as daily driver if more caster gives you better control of the car.
Right.
So
Is that their number to say it is best for? It's the.
it says
good balance?
baseline. It says baseline. So that's probably a starting point.
Yeah.
So let's go with 3.5. Let's see if we can hit 3.5 exactly on the other side.
Okay. So,
And then we'll deal with camber.
how do we do that? Turn it all the way to the other direction? Not 20
You
degrees?
turn it to 20 degrees in the direction it's at now, because
Okay.
towards the outside.
0. Follow the same steps.
0, follow the same steps.
Okay.
And we have an idea of how many turns it'll take to do a degree, right?
2 rotations
Is 1 degree.
is approximately a degree.
So that's how we'll do it. We'll find out how far we are off, and then we'll go ahead and do the number of rotations we believe we need.
Lift plate.
Should we chalk this wheel so that it doesn't move back and forth? That might be why it's moving.
That could be.
Let me get the chocks in through there.
Chalk it.
So if we've marked the rim again so that we can duplicate where we're putting the level precisely. We're going to rotate it 20 degrees out. Turn on the level, put it on, and zero it.
I'm glad you're talking me through this, because I'm not remembering. Every time I touch it, it wants to... There we go. That's a 0.
Okay.
Rotate it as far as I can.
Rotate it as far to the other side. That's good. I'll try to move the camera over just a bit so I can zoom in on that reading if I can.
Box got closer together, Dad. Okay, so I have a 1.5.
Yep.
So I
It just
need to
went to
move it
1.4, but that's beside the point.
2
Okay.
degrees
Give me that while you're playing around. I'll move it around so that
so that it doesn't time out again.
time out again.
Alright.
And then we should get an accurate reading.
Okay, so that turned towards me. And then
The other locking nut.
probably goes the other way. It does. And then, so if that went in tightening, we'll be pushing it that way.
So are you saying that the direction you had to turn the small locking nut,
The small locking nut now turns to the back,
and you want to turn it to the back to
so I want to
adjust it, right?
bring it in.
So that's when I get it body on and I need to adjust it. That's how I can decide which way makes it go in.
6,
Let's zoom out and show you what he's doing.
8, 9, 10. So I'm counting the number of flats. I'm up to 10 so far. So I'm nearing 2 whole revolutions. 11 and 12. And we had calculated out that each revolution
Was a half a
is
degree.
a half a degree.
So that should be pretty close.
This should be 2.5 because I've done 2 revolutions, 2 halves.
Should be 3.5 because it was 1.5.
Each revolution is a half a degree. And I've only done 2 revolutions.
Oh, okay.
I am at 2.4.
Okay, we'll take your word for it. Give me that.
You
Don't-
keep moving that for
Don't
me.
want that to time out. So this works pretty good as long as you have somebody to move the level.
4, 5,
Now,
7.
one guy that I saw a video said that you had to multiply the reading on your caster gauge. Now he was using a a gauge made for it.
Two more full revolutions.
He said you had to multiply the reading on the gauge by 1.5 according to somebody he heard, but I don't believe that's the case in this because we're measuring that directly.
And I'm exactly at 3.4.
Can you give me 3.5?
Can I give you 3.5? I should be able to. Just another. It's real close. It's kind of flickering between 3.5, so don't go too far with that.
So
because we're going to do minor adjustments here.
I'm loving these adjustable control arms already because
I'm going to do another flat. This is what you can do. I have run into my jam nut.
that'll make it hard to turn.
It will.
So if you're having trouble turning it, check your jam nut.
We are getting close to running out of thread to work with, so.
That's okay. 3.5.
3.5, dead on.
Nice. That's one of the things about shims is you can get close, you can't get exact.
Right.
So I'm loving these adjustable control arms. So that's it for caster.
Do we jam those yet, though?
No, we don't want to jam them because what we need to do now is camber.
Okay.
And I want 2 degrees negative camber, which means tops are pointed inward, bottoms are pointed out. That gives you better cornering and highway stability. So, like I said, I'm not really worried about, okay, on my chart here it says 1.5 to 2 negative is an autocross baseline and 1 to 2 negative is track baseline. Now, track baseline is probably a little more leeway because depending on the track, if it's a road track, you know, you might have better success with more caster, more camber, whatever. So we got to straighten the wheels for camber, or camber, yes, camber. Set that kind of back to 0, more or less.
More or less.
And now what we're trying to do is we got to measure this. So we're going to have to do degrees difference from 90, I think. I don't think we can 0 it unless we had something we knew was exactly vertical. And it's not hard math to go from 90 to 88.
Right.
So let's see what we got right now, starting out.
So you'd like me to 0 this when it's up against here and then figure out what it takes to get to 2? What are you looking
Yeah,
for?
we could do that. That seems like that would work. No, because you don't know what, you might be at 3 already when you 0 it.
Right.
So let's just put it on there at 90 degrees.
So we assume it's going to be 90 degrees. So
Straight up and down is 90. You know what? Shut it off and turn it back on because it's 0'd for the caster.
Okay, so just power it on.
And that will reset it to standard, which is,
Okay. Now we use those same spots that I've already marked because they should be vertical now, right?
they should be perfect.
So this is 88.5.
Ooh, that's 1.5. Now, is it the correct way? It looks like it from here.
If I push the top out, I go closer to 90.
Yes, so that's the correct way. So 88.5, do we want to try? Now the way you adjust that is equal turns.
Ooh.
What are you oohing?
Interest. So we need to go, if we're 1.5 degrees off of 90, right? We
Yeah.
need to bring the top in by down to 88.
Yeah, which should probably be 1/2 degree. Is that a turn?
1/2 degree.
That's a turn on each.
Is that how it works?
Yes.
So it's a turn here and a turn here?
Yes.
Okay.
Both in the same direction, which you want to be pulling it in.
So on this side, so I'm going to be pushing the knot back. That's going to bring it together. Because that's how I ran into the jam nut.
Yep. Whoa.
That comes all the way off. Luckily, we don't have to go that far.
So I'm going to zoom in. I like playing cameraman instead of mechanic.
But if that's all you did,
Yeah, I wouldn't get anything done by myself.
right?
So which way are you breaking that loose?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay.
It started turning the adjustment completely.
I would think it would still go same way as the back one.
Yep.
Okay. So loosen up those jam nuts.
Okay. And
Give me one turn towards the back, right?
full turn, 6 flats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the same again here.
Same again there, yes.
I can't give that.
And what?
That's as tight as it goes. Something in
You're jammed.
it's jammed all the way up inside or something.
Okay.
I can't give you any more of that.
Did it turn at all?
Not
Not even a flat.
even a flat.
So, we're going to make a command level decision here and go with 1.5.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see there's any way other than that. I think that's it for our adjustment.
Yeah.
Because if we would have to move the bottom and the top out in order to be able to move the top in further. So set that back to where it was.
It's where it was.
Okay.
I kept the flats on the top.
You what?
I kept the flats.
No, I'm talking the front one. The front one. You adjusted the front one.
Ah, yeah.
Set the front one back.
This time I'm going to pull it towards me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Measure it back up. Just make sure I didn't screw it up. Nobody can read that at all, not even me. I'm getting
88.4.
88.4. Yeah, it's just about there, like, I keep moving the level
Yeah.
minutely. To get you close enough.
Yeah, that would be, I guess we should we double check the caster? Since we played with those.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be okay, but
Yeah. So, turn it to 20, put it up there and zero it, turn it all the way the other way.
yep. And then as long as we haven't screwed up the caster too bad, we can, this is supposed to only be preliminary because we have to go through this again when the body's on.
Yeah.
So
It's going to cause some adjustments.
I think we've displayed the process we're using just fine. And
Zeroed.
that'll,
If you want to flop that around a little bit.
yeah, I'm sure it's not going to turn off that quick, but.
This is 2.6. Do I not have it turned all the way or something? Or what happened? No, it's all the way over.
Turn it back to 20 and see if you're at 0.
Okay. That's 1.0. Sorry, 0.1.
Where's the 0 button?
It's-
Hold it, now press it.
Yeah, it's underneath the tape on the top. Closer to me. Closer. There you go. I don't think that's going to make up a whole degree.
No.
I'm reading 2.4. How good is this level?
It was being consistent as we were doing it the first time.
It was.
So, did we mess up on the count on these? So, we could, our options to adjust caster were shorten the
Shorten the back one.
back one
Lengthen.
or lengthen the top one. We're pretty much at the end of our adjustment on the back one.
Yeah.
Let's lock that one down and then adjust the top one.
Push that back. Yeah, and by pretty much, you're not going to really be able to do any further adjustment with the back one. So any adjustments you make are going to have to be up here, unless it means to shorten this or
Lengthen that.
lengthen that one.
That is a valid point, though. I don't know how accurate those levels are. They're Craftsman quality. It's, Craftsman brand. So it is what you get. And the other thing that's possible is our little things could have moved.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to reiterate that this is preliminary. And
Locked.
okay, so let's lengthen the top one. So
Lengthening.
that would be pulling it towards you.
Towards. I'm going to start with the assumption that 2 rotations is 1 degree. I know it's a different geometry, but I think this is a good place to start. Six and a half. It's like I wonder if they set together and 2.4. That's exactly where it was. What the?
So if 2.4 is correct now, it was good where it was. Turn it 6 that way,
So I did 2 full turns.
and you get the same reading. I know, I understand what you're saying, but turn it, you know me, go 6 flats,
So a half revolution, or a
half a degree.
half a degree.
And then we'll,
1.
we probably should have put a piece of tape or something and marked top on that adjusting thing.
Okay. So 6. Like, I think those blocks have moved towards each other a little
I
bit.
think they have. Hate to move them, but
Yeah.
still reading 2.4. That's crazy.
You're like, what the heck is going on?
No, it's 2.5.
So what do you want to do?
Boy. That's shrill.
Huh?
That's shrill.
Yeah. 20 degrees, right? Gonna re-zero it?
Yep. Or, ow. I just put a piece of metal in my hand
No.
from when I was grinding the, move that up a little bit. was from when I was grinding the. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, this is. Got it.
Moving it the whole time.
3.2. So we should bring it back to where it was. Which is forward. Right?
But we had it at 3.5, right?
Right. So we want to lengthen this.
So, which backs towards where it was? It's the most recent lens where it was.
Yes.
Add add the rotation back.
We're going back to where we were in the beginning.
In the beginning?
Yeah, that's that way. You're lengthening this to give more caster.
So, lengthen.
Lengthening. Now, here's where I'm going with it, why I think we got erroneous readings.
Okay.
We didn't readjust this.
Readjust.
We didn't move the wheel, we just changed the screw
Oh, okay.
and it didn't settle in right, and that's at 3.5.
Okay.
So that's my decision.
Okay, lock these back down here then.
Lock them down. And then we'll do the camber on the other side. And that'll be it. For preliminary wheel alignment. Oh, geez.
Makes a lot less noise when you drop it on your foot first.
Okay, so that was a lot of recording of a lot of uh-ohs,
Yeah?
but we think we have gotten it where it needs to be, or where I want it.
Okay.
So, other side. So as we were moving this plate, I discovered why we were having a hard time without resetting those, moving the wheels and then retesting with the level. We had propped this up with a bolt, and it turns out that propping that up restricted the movement of the plate. So we were being our own worst enemy because it wouldn't do that with this propped up. There you go. You can see I'm pushing on it. If I release this, it moves right away. It moves with that plate. So it's not very accurate. It's not very easy to line up, but it is what it is. So lesson learned, when I do the final alignment, I will not prop that up. I will just use it as a gauge to let me know when the 20 degrees is, and let this move freely. Okay, driver's side, we're gonna check the camber.
Here I have 89.6.
So we would want, which way is it?
That's what I'm about to try to figure out. Taking the top in is giving me a smaller number. To a point, right? It doesn't go to 180. It goes only to 90.
Pull the bottom out and see if that,
I'm on rubber. It's my problem. I'm on rubber.
you're on rubber, that won't work.
Why can't I get it?
Remember, I moved those things, so.
There we go. 89.7.
What's it telling you?
So close to 90. It's 89.7. I'm trying to find where 90 is. And then I'm struggling to do. I'm gonna pull the top out. The next number I get to is 89.5.
Pulling the top out.
Gives me 89.5.
From 89.7.
99.6 now is the settle.
So you're saying we need to move the top out to get to 88? No. We need to move the top end to get to 88.
Right. So theoretically, since I know that pulling the top out gets me to 90, pulling the bottom out should get me to a smaller number next. Or now. 89.6. Top out gives me 89. Gosh, it's such a close division. That's an awful long way to be a tenth of a degree. I think it is just so happening, like, it gives you these numbers, but its accuracy is not very good. Because when I pull the bottom out, the next number I get to is 89.789. There I have 90.
So the top
So-
has to go in.
So the top is further out than the bottom right now. So we need to go
We need to pull the top in.
over 2 degrees if possible.
Well, it looks like,
Because we need to pull it in like 2.3 degrees.
yeah, it looks like there's room on that adjuster. When I put these on, I just, all I did was tried as best I could to measure the old ones and the new ones, and
Just kind of eyeballed them.
yeah. You know what? Let's do something here.
Do you want to work on your own car?
when you're running one turn.
Yeah, I will.
So you want to do, what do we say, one turn will be a half?
One turn is a half a degree. So,
At least as it relates to caster.
right. And that's kind of where I started trying the other thing, Camber. Okay, and so you want me to make this shorter. Pushing it back is going to make it shorter.
Don't jam that nut up against it.
Yeah. Just trying to make sure that I'm going the right way. I feel like I can make it longer.
I do too.
Yep,
Coming back to where you were.
that's where I was.
Remind me.
That should be going the same direction on this. Put the tape out of the way. Okay, so that's one turn each.
Measure it just for kicks.
Yep.
You're going to have to tell us because we can't read the level from here.
Yeah. 89.9.
Turn the wheel.
Thank you.
Those plates may not be settling.
See if that changes anything.
It looks like there's negative camber now.
Well, there might be. But it looks like it's maybe a 0.2 of a degree.
89
89.8. So I think we moved it that half a degree
in the direct
in the right direction.
direction.
So we're trying to get to 2,
Yeah.
right?
Well, where were we there? We were
1.5.
1.5.
So I need to go at least 2 more turns to get a whole more degree than where I'm at. And then probably another half a turn or so.
I'm going to play here.
Play till your heart's content.
Just that.
It seems like it's starting to look. Got good news for you. I'm at 89.1 or 2 now. So, take another half a degree. And we'll figure it out from there. We should be probably within a tenth or two.
And I put this other vertical line on the tire, and you can tell that it is
Leaned in a little bit.
negative camber. Yes. Actually looks like quite a bit. So we're doing the right direction.
Cool.
That is awesome.
I have not put this in the right spot. That's what I have. Okay, I have 88.4.
That's 1.6.
It's 1.6.
What did we have on the other side?
1.5. I think. Double check it.
We can back it off to make them identical.
Yeah. If it's in fact. Let's double check where we're at. It is now reading 88.7. It's kind of all over the place. So what would you like to do?
Make sure you weren't on the rubber. Just do it again,
Okay.
because
.6.
and what were we over here?
88.4. I can pull it back a half rotation
Yeah, pull it back a little bit.
and get it close to a quarter of a degree.
You know, based on what I've seen, when you pay for an alignment, they'd be like close enough.
Yeah,
And keeping in mind, this is preliminary.
right. It's gonna change.
I'm expecting to gain a little bit of camber.
Yeah, because you're gonna get more weight on it and it's gonna want to pull those wheels in.
Yeah, as we get the body on.
There. My line's on bottom. My line's on bottom and my flats are on top.
Okay,
Measure it one more time.
there you go.
Rotate. Somebody needs to get a steering wheel installed. Just saying.
That's not straight. It's not pointing towards the front.
Sure is not.
Okay.
I see one of the challenges that was probably affecting some of it is one of the molding nubs was in my way. 88.6. So it matches.
They're matching both
the right-hand
sides.
side.
Okay, let's call that a wrap.
I'm going to jam these up again.
So, yep, that's the only thing left to do on this preliminary wheel alignment. After we get the body on, after I get the body on, we get the body on, I'm going to have to go through this again and make sure that it's at an acceptable setting. I believe it is. So
The tape was a good idea.
yeah, I'll have to remember that the next time. So that's about it for wheel alignment 101 for this project. And as usual, have a nice day and thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon. So one last comment. Not everybody's going to have adjustable control arms. So when you're adjusting it with shims, what happens is you put shims in between this tower that's attached to the shock and the shaft of the control arm. So if you think about that, to shorten either side of that, you put a shim in here that pulls back the ball joint, either side, top or bottom. So what you would do is, and the shims come in very minimal number of sizes compared to being able to thread this in the way we have done. But you get, and this is probably why, quote, professional wheel alignment guys get it and say close enough, is because if they add another shim, it's going to take it too far. If they leave it as it is, you know, it may be out the same as adding a shim, but in the other direction. And so they just call it quits. And then they do the caster first. Once they get that, they just add equal shims front and back to adjust the camber. So that's it. Made it on one charge of the battery and the camera.
It's always good.
And no swear words until we were off camera.
Beep!
Okay, that's it for now.